Contingency Contract begins tomorrow. As of this video, or maybe when you're watching it, it's already begun. There are 3 things I want to say before it begins. The first thing is Contingency Contract overhyped? Probably. I would say that of all the Arknights events that occurs in the base game itself, I would find Contingency Contract to be one of my less favorites event. And the reason for that is that it's not an event that I would say is highly replayable. You might invest a lot of time in it, but that's not going to be everybody. A lot of people who play this event are just going to play for the rewards. Meaning, if the rewards stop at risk 20, that's all they're going to do. They might just pick up a guide and then be done with it, and there's nothing to play after that. It could be replayable for some of you who want to chase for the higher risk, just for your own pride, your own prestige. So if you want to do things like risk 40 to 50, good for you. You're going to be investing more time in the game than you've ever done before. But the good thing about Contingency Contract being in the game for both games is that it offers difficulty and optional as well. It's catered to whatever that you find being comfortable, and if you are done with it, then you can stop playing it. Don't need to feel the pressure of going higher because there are no rewards there. Now, don't get me wrong, I do like chasing for high difficulty as well. It's good to challenge what is the current state of my account and to see just how good I am within the game, but the reason why I wouldn't like it as much as the other game modes that exist in the base game of Arknights is because the end result of it will be you finding out an optimal team that you think is good to chase that high risk. You're going to be replaying it over and over again, refining the moveset, the sequence of what you're doing in order to achieve that highest difficulty, which means that you won't be changing up your gameplay at all. It's not like you're going to be experimenting 5 to 10 different teams that you might do so in other game modes, like for example integrated strategies, SSS, RA, that are all the bigger game modes that you can play in AK. But still, this doesn't mean that Contingency Contracts shouldn't exist in Endfield. I think it's very necessary that we finally have what we might declare as the end game mode, a high difficulty game mode, but we are still facing the dreadful problem that there is nothing truly replayable on a wider scale. That is even casuals wanting to redo it over and over again. When I say redo it over and over again, I don't mean just to do it for the sake of rewards, but instead replaying it purely because it's a fun game mode. Is Contingency Contract going to be fun? It's not going to be for everyone. I can already foresee that there will be people that will dislike this game mode to a core. But on the other side, there's also going to be people who's going to love the fact that this exists and can't wait for the next season to appear. Whatever there is though, come into it with an open mind if you've never played AK before. And even if you played AK before, feel it within Endfield and see how they decide to vary it in the form of this 3D combat game. And that leads me to the second thing for me to talk about, because I brought up the point on guides. The thing I want to actually put forth here is I have a personal opinion that is, guides might not save you in this Contingency Contract. And let me explain. If you're going to seek for guides in order to clear risk 20 because you find it challenging, that one I think is going to be readily available. Killstin is going to be there for you. I might even make my own guide, and other YouTubers as well. Risk 20 isn't going to be as hard as people might picture, because I do think most teams in this game are going to make sure that you can grab every single reward that you want from playing CC. So you don't have to fear about that, like will you miss some pools, will you miss some precious materials, none of that is going to occur. If you struggle, just tune into a video, someone's going to be there. And the good thing about this CC that I'll also mention is that it will be heavily promoted on non-conventional teams. Because of the way that they've done the risk tags, I do foresee that a lot of the classic teams that people play, like for example a whole cryo last right team, a full heat levitating team, those things may not work as you wish for it to do because of all the damage reduction, all the inflictions going haywire. You're gonna be surprised as to what the debuffs can do towards your team. And instead, this CC is heavily promoted on this thing called Arts Reaction, which basically focuses on combustion, electrification, solidification, corrosion, and also breach and crush. If you didn't know, those are also considered arts reactions, and these are the ones that's gonna dish a lot of damage. So that means that people will be driving towards trying to always procuring these things, and hybrid teams, those with mixed elements, are going to be so much more popular. Or people who can directly class a status, like for example Adelia with the corrosion and then Perlica with the electrification. I think those are the things that people will turn towards. The gear loadout that you put on your teams might also end up being non-conventional if you're playing for higher risk, because there's again a lot of nerfs on things like basic attack, skill damage, ultimate damage, which means that you're not going to be focused on the main stat and the substat of your units, but you might be carrying more on things like maybe combo skill cooldown and even arts intensity in order to make sure that the statuses being dealt will deal higher damage. So be on the lookout, because there's going to be videos that might recommend to you things that you are not used to, and this is going to change up the way that you see the game. But then again, I did just start this point by saying that guides will not save you. So what exactly am I going for here? Guides will only take you so far during your gameplay. Unlike Arknights Contingency Contract, where people see a squad of, 12 men and then they look at the video and they see this person is deployed right now, this person is deployed 5 seconds later at this position, retreat this person. The great thing about AK compared to Endfield is that you can do this thing called pause deploy, right? You can have the video right beside you on a screen, on a monitor, then afterwards you realize this is the first step that you're supposed to take, you pause that video, you come back to your game, you repeat that step, you pause your game, and you repeat. There's a reason why I've never really enjoyed Contingency Contract as well in AK, because we receive it after the CN community, which means that we're always taking the answer sheet. And a lot of these players who flex, they have high risk and everything, the only true thing that you're flexing is the fact that you have the same units as this high risk clear, but it's not an original strategy that you yourself discovered. Instead, you're taking the hard work of the other creators in order to fulfill it in your account. So it always made me felt like it's not exactly legit. There's still some credit to it because at the end of the day, following step by step isn't very easy to do. So fair enough that you've scored your high risk over in Arknights. But in the case of Endfield, the thing you can do when you watch these videos is, again, you can follow the same team, you can follow the same weapons being equipped, you can follow the same gear loadout, but in the moment of the gameplay itself, good luck trying to pause the gameplay or hoping that the enemies will always react in the same way, because they're not going to have the same sort of like movement set, the way that they come at you is all going to be very different from what you watch in another video. So in the very moment itself when you're playing it, your hands are going to be more important than just someone telling you, by the way, use this team, because you might not be able to carry out what they are doing. So that's something that I would actually appreciate more about Endfield versus AK, because I do see more skill involved in the sense that can you actually run your account? Can you actually run this team in your own way and understand why they work? What is the timing of everything that you're supposed to do? So you're gonna have guys that will try to teach you on that, but at the end of the day, the person who will make sure that that finalizes the results in your account is gonna be yourself. So again, it's not like guys will be rendered useless, but it's not gonna be as followable as you wish back in Arknights, is the point that I'm trying to make. And the final thing to talk about, is Contingency Contract gonna mark a bright future for Endfield? My answer to that is that it depends on you guys, it depends on the community, and let me explain why. This is the first time that Contingency Contract is released across all the servers at the same time. Well, I say that, but then again, the Americas and Europe server are getting it 13 hours after Asia. They're still keeping it that way. I'm so annoyed by this. Why can't you just do it all together? But whatever the case though, we're still getting it on the same day, which means that everybody's progress will start afresh and we're all chasing for that high risk together. So you're gonna see videos pop up on YouTube, on Bilibili, on Twitter itself, where people will be like, hey guys, I've gotten risk 40. Hey, now I've reached risk 45. I've gone into risk 49 territory. We're all going to be chasing for that record. Even if you're just a casual player or you're someone who loves to sweat and all that kind of stuff, post your videos, post your clears, post your ideas. Let's have the community watching the solutions that we can discover to go into that high risk, get other people to be on board playing the same team as well to get their own high risk. And the fun part over here is that the way that the CN community has always played Contingency Contract, it's one of the reasons why I think the AK community in CN is so strong. It's because it's not just about chasing for that highest record. Even if we have already attained max risk 52 by some person in the Chinese side of things, the discovery process won't stop there. The next thing to ask ourselves is there a way to do it with a second team, with a third team? What other solutions are there? What's the lowest investment you need in your account in order to get to that point? And there's a chance that we might not even get max risk because of that annoying timer risk. But even with the timer risk itself, imagine that it's completely removed, that attains risk 49 for example. If you have the timer risk being taken, which reduces it to 5 minutes, then what's the next highest risk we can achieve, right? What's the best team that we're going to play there? It's all in that discovery process. We're going to find out new interactions from unit to unit that we've never seen before, teams that are so strange to play in the actual overworld game mode, but all of a sudden Contingency Contract allows this team to flourish. So my point being, it will be fun if you join in the fun and we all play together and enjoy what we have done within our accounts. Simply put, the EN community has never experienced interaction like this before. We've never had the feeling where, hey guys, I've got a new answer, let me show it to you guys over on my Twitter account. Hey look, there's another person who got this kind of answer, that looks really fun, that looks really interesting. The CN community has enjoyed this with every single season of AK, which is the reason why people can make friends over there. But over here in Endfield, now with nobody having the answer straight off the bat before the event is even released, can we all experience this all together? I'm not confident to say that we're going to do that we're going to see a much more active YouTube and Twitter space. But again, that's why I'm talking about it in this video. This isn't just for like big content creators to be out there to talk about Contingency Contract all the time. It's even for the smaller casual players to go for these achievements and then be out there to tell people that these are all the cool things that you get to do. So again, I make this video in order to send this message to you guys that you can enjoy Contingency Contract to the fullest, be participative during this point in time, because again, this is a way for us to bring Endfield to a greater height. Again, only if the community wants that to happen. If it doesn't occur, it's a pity. But still, enjoy it. Alright, I'll see you guys in another video. Bye bye.